My video for June the 14th, 2019 is video number 3116. The title is RV/GCR Tiers, Global Authorities, number one, World Governments, number two, Authors, number three, Internet Groups, number four, Public, number five. Yes, this is the order in which the global currency reset GCR funds are being released. Who, I wonder, are the global authorities, so-called? Is this the same elite establishment that has been raping the world for eons? To me, they are the self-proclaimed authorities who have derived their power and influence by fraud. We know, of course, about the world governments, don't we? I suppose the authors are those who wrote the agreement, which most likely would be the same as those who call themselves authorities. Many dreamers like me are in the various internet groups, supposedly those who are somewhat awake to the racket that has been the control game all along. Do I really think they will allow us dreamers to be enriched and empowered? Or are benevolent ETs finally unseating those crooked powers that be? What do you think? Once again, I was actually going to make a video on a different subject, but as soon as I posted my previous video, I checked my email, and of course, the pyramid that showed the tiers, and the pyramid, of course, is the top of the pyramid, again, is the global authorities, or at least those that call themselves global authorities. And then, of course, as it was, the pyramid went down to the public being the biggest group, the group that's uninformed and unenlightened and doesn't know what's going on. You know, supposedly the internet groups are the awakened, or at least semi-awakened ones. And awakened to what? The money game has always been a means of control. From the beginning of the whole scam, the invaders of Earth, the archons, the malevolent ETs, whatever name you want to give them, they have enslaved humanity for eons. This is not something new. I have been a dreamer and believe that there is going to be a golden age. The age that we've been in, believe it or not, is called the Iron Age. It's the age of greatest control. Each successive age following the original golden age, which I'm going to say was when mankind was fully awakened, that is, in control of their own power, their own natural gifts, talents, and abilities, we were dumbed down by the global authorities, or those that claimed global authority. 90 or more % of our capabilities were turned off. That is, our codons in our DNA. They say 90% of it, or 90-some% of it, is junk DNA. I mean, I've heard numbers as high as 97% of it is junk DNA. Now, perhaps some of that junk has been recaptured by some of the internet groups, the people that are in various stages of awakening. Nobody is awakened yet. I mean, it's ludicrous for anybody to think that I am awake, because we've all been deluded for so long. We don't even know what awake is. I'm sure there are many things that even the dreamers, like myself, can only grasp just a little piece of the story. The story of what? The story of creation, the story of life. To open the book of life. Are we in that book? Well, we know from observation in recent decades and centuries that war has been a racket. They have, some of the people that sit at the top of the heap consider killing ordinary people mere chattel. I mean, they don't even consider people human if their skin is dark or if they come from a third world country, for example. Or you want to get real serious about it, even a first world country like the United States and Canada and Australia and those that were in the British Commonwealth and those that are in Western Europe. They don't consider most Indians from India to be part of the human population. They would kill them with ease. And of course, the Chinese, they still do that. And they make Russia an enemy, even though Russia has a mix of, I imagine, the eastern part of Russia or Siberia. I imagine a lot of them are not Caucasian. A lot of them would be probably Oriental. Do I know that? No, I am surmising, and I admit that. There's a lot of things I don't know. There's a lot of things you don't know, you who are listening. We only think we know. We only project what we'd like to see happen, but it doesn't happen. And the RV has been promised, as I've said again and again and again and again, for decades now. Decades. In my lifetime. If you're listening to this, it's obviously your lifetime too. But are we not all interconnected? Do we not all breathe the same breath of life? Of course we do. And without that, we're not sustainable. Not without putting on extra gear, be it some kind of spacesuit or something that allows us to breathe what we are accustomed to breathing. Otherwise, we die. Now, are there ways around that? Perhaps there are technologies that are being used by some of these global authorities to transport people to various places around the universe. I'm not going to say the world because it's bigger than the world. They say that there are all sorts of developments on the dark side of the moon, for example, and that the moon in proportion to the Earth is disproportionate. It's too big an object to be circling a planet the size of Earth. But of course, there are other people that say the whole thing is just a projected hologram, that it's not real. It's, again, holographic universe. I don't know. I still have a lot of questions. I am still a seeker. And I'm willing to put myself out on a limb, so to speak, and believe what I'd like to be true. I'd like there to be benevolent ETs that actually care about humanity. I'd like to believe there are good angels as well as the fallen angels who we have seen the results of their lies and chicanery. In a future video, I'm going to be talking more about that, because I've read some things, and that was some of the things I was going to make my video on. But anyway, that's to be determined in the future. Thank you, folks, for listening, and namaste.